The Magic Show is brought to you by StarCityGames.com, and check this out, StarCityGames.com is carrying the hottest new Magic the Gathering products for pre-order. This includes Arch Enemy, Duels of the Planeswalker decks, and Magic 2011, now confirmed to have Baneslayer Angel and Lightning Bolt. Pick up your M11 boxes, Fat Packs, and Intro Packs at the biggest and best Magic retailer on the planet, StarCityGames.com.
Hi, this is Jacob Van Lunen, and welcome to Cooking with Jacob Van Lunen, the Magic Show.
Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of The Magic Show. This week we've got an incredible number of M11 spoilers and not a lot of time to go over them. You ready to check out the most badass core set ever made? Let's go! So this past week has been one hell of an exciting week in Magic. We've seen bit by bit just how incredible M11 can be. Let's start with last week. My preview time reversal went kasplooey all over the plain populace and reactions were definitely mixed. Many saw this as an overrated card that won't hold its value. And a card that StarCity Games sold out of in less than a week. Yes, you can call me crazy or overhyping this one, but the fact is it will be a Chase Mythic and it won't take long to break it. But that wasn't even the most exciting blue spoiler that came out on the same day. Can you say Mana Leak? I knew you could. Holy crap, they brought back Mana Leak. Well, we can officially say blue is the best color again. They have the best Planeswalker, amazing counter magic, ridiculous card draw, and tools to defeat just about everything and then some. Rest assured, Mana Leak will be a force for the next year and a half in Standard, so get used to getting blown out by it or playing around it very soon. But we're not done with the amazing blue cards. And speaking of time reversal, Wizards already gave us the perfect card in M11 to abuse it with. Can you believe they're bringing back, of all the rare cycles, Laylines? What? Laylines? Now, I foresaw a lot of cycles possible in M11, but Laylines was not one of them. This card... Man, this card does incredibly unfair things if you can get it out early. If you didn't play during Time Spiral, Teferi was often the key to winning the Control Wars, but that was a 5-mana creature that had to resolve. This could, perhaps by itself, determine the winner of a control-on-control matchup before the game even starts. Let that sink in for a second. It doesn't take a lot of imagination to make this thing completely ridiculous. End of your turn Jace the Mind Sculptor? End of your turn Wall of Omens? How about Mind Spring? Hell, how about end of your turn Divination? This turns any tap-out deck into an end of your turn deck, and that is crazy unfair in a variety of matchups. Okay, all matchups. But every amazing card needs a great answer, and this one includes what is probably my favorite name in the set, War Priest of Thune. Yes, that is a strictly better monk realist, and I love it. I know many a fine Magic player has slung with a Kami of Ancient Law, and this gives you the bear you were looking for and the effect you need in one tight package. And again, he's a friggin' War Priest. How cool is that? Moving on, the hits keep on coming. One of the coolest cycles in M11 has to be the Mythic Titans. Last week we went over the impressive Sun Titan, and at this point they're all revealed. Let's get the two bad ones out of the way first. Inferno Titan and Frost Titan could be sick in a lot of metagames, but I don't feel this one is it. Let's check out some incredibly nutty Mythic Giants. We'll start with Grave Titan. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's back up here a second and take a quick gander for what 4 colorless and 2 black mana has purchased us in the past. To start with, there are only 57 cards in all of Magic with this cost, but let's further it down a bit. How about just rares and mythic creatures? Now we're down to 28. What could you possibly compare this to? The best options are probably Kokusho the Evening Star and Ink-Eye's Servant of Oni. Both of these were incredibly powerful creatures, one of which could be snuck out for just 5 mana. But Grave Titan? This guy redefines what you can get for a mere 6 mana. Whereas Broodmate Dragon gave you 2 4/4 flyers and required 3 different kinds of mana, this time we've got a 6/6 death touch that makes 2 2/2s when it comes into play, aka 10 power for 6 mana. That's mono black. Is this guy real? An incredible reanimation target. He gives you 14 power of dudes after swinging. Unbelievable. But even Grave Titan can't compare to the Green Titan. Let's get primeval, ladies and gentlemen. If you wanted to know what a Chase Mythic looks like, feast your eyes, peeps, because this is how it's done. This guy is ridiculous. There is no question. Getting a 6'6" trampling beat stick is one thing, but searching up dual Sajiri steps, 2 Eldrazi temples and/or Eldrazi temple and Eye of Ugin, 2 manlands, 2 tectonic edges, the list of amazing plays this guy makes is ridiculous. The only drawback is they come into play tapped, and with the manlands and steps, that's something that was going to happen anyway. To give you some perspective, take a look back at Reap and Sow, a card that saw serious constructed play back in Mirrored and Standard and Tooth and Nail decks. This card cost 2 green and 4 colorless Entwine, put only 1 land into play with the bonus of destroying another. Now this was a fine card to find Urzatron pieces, but never did it give you a 6/6 trampler and 2 lands whether they entered the battlefield tapped or not. Primeval Titan is already one of the most expensive cards in the set for a reason, and if you're looking for incredible green cards, this is where I'd start. But that's not all. Green is completely stacked in this set. Last week I messed up the Garrick's Companion plus Boar Umbra being a 6/5 instead of a 5/4 like I said, but that's nothing. We've got Kodama's Reach coming back as Cultivate, we got the sickest Borderland Ranger ever in elf form as Sylvan Ranger, and now we've got, as a rare and not a mythic, the nuttiest 2-drop this side of Lotus Cobra. Have you seen Fauna Shaman? Whew, you better be thanking your lucky stars this survival of the fittest on a stick isn't mythic, because it would be stupidly expensive. Even as a rare, this thing will be sought after for years, yes, years, as the ability to do stupid unfair things is pretty much guaranteed. For those unfamiliar with survival of the fittest, let me assure you, stupid things happen with that card in Recurring Nightmare and Standard, and they don't give Flores bad previews. This card will see play and will impact your metagame. How about discarding Bloodghast to get, hell, I don't know, Grave Titan and then play a land and put Bloodghast onto the battlefield? But that's just the beginning. Just look at how it interacts with Bill Stark's preview, Squadron Hawk. Oh man, if this thing doesn't get the juices flowing, then you might want to check your pulse. There are all sorts of unfair things this card does, whether they're simply using it to bring back Vengevine, playing it with Fauna Shaman on the battlefield in order to have 3 discardable creatures, or take a look at this play. Let's say you got Jace the Mind Sculptor on the battlefield. You brainstorm, and then you play Squadron Hawk to get the other 3 copies, shuffling your deck. You brainstorm again next turn, put 2 of the Squadron Hawks back on top, play number 3 to get the other 2 copies back and shuffle again, allowing you to see 3 more new cards next turn. Seriously, this innocuous common is insane and the possibilities are just incredible. But are we done? Of course not. This core set is knocking them out of the park, and we've still got plenty of heavy hitters to come. Next up is Temple Bell, aka the card that replaced Howling Mine. I for one think this card is brilliant. It fixes the problem with Howling Mine. Quote, giving your opponent the first draw. Now you can instead just use it during their end step, giving you and your opponent a card, but on your terms and allowing you to use the extra card first. Sure, it's Jace Bellerin's first ability, but what an ability it is! Mikakuro Center of the Sea saw serious play a few years ago, and this one requires no activation cost and isn't legendary. I love this card, and everyone who plays multiplayer will adore it. Finally, it won't be destroyed before your next turn after everyone else gets a free card. Just wonderful design. I can't go over the spoilers from the past week without mentioning Mitotic Slime. Wow, another great green card? I think so. This card is basically 4 power guaranteed and will remain that way until it dies. A lot. Yes, Path to Exile is still in the format, but I think it needs to be said that with Bloodthrone Vampire, this is a 5 mana +14/+14 spell. Yeah, chew on that for a second. Or simply use Day of Judgment that still gives you 4 powers of guys on the field. Devour creatures obviously love this guy, and he blocks like a champion all day long. Not a chase rare, but definitely a casual powerhouse, a Johnny's delight, and could see constructed play. My kind of card. How about an awesome card with some of the best flavor in the set? Say hello to Crystal Ball. I love this card and how it is basically the sickest Darksteel pendant of all time. Going to just go ahead and call this now. This card will see constructed play. Just imagine the blue-white control mirror. He who has the crystal ball is going to win that game, I assure you. Now, it may have to live in sideboards due to the speed of Standard, but this innocuous little artifact will be impacting metagames. It also goes along perfectly with Conundrum Sphinx. Awesome art and a hell of an ability. Some are calling this the most badass blue flyer since Kega or Moloku, and while I don't think it's quite that good, you can imagine with Crystal Ball, Preordain, and Jace the Mind Sculptor, it won't take much to have this guy say attack and draw a card while also seeing your opponent's top card. Very nice. Lastly, we got to give some space to Phylactery Lich. Oh yeah, Liches, it's on now. This Lich is straight from the streets and requires a little pimping setup. Would you say he has a pimp chalice? You could. What about a pimp rod? I mean, cane. And what's a pimp cane without a pimp chain? Oh yeah, this Lich is straight gangster and you need to know about it. Much like Vampire Nocturnus, he won't be good until the next set, that is Scars of Mirrodin, but he'll have plenty of targets to put his phylactery counters on. And when he does, it'll be pimping, I assure you. So that's the spoilers for this week, everybody. I hope you are having as much fun with them as I am. This set has already bypassed M10 as my favorite core set of all time, and remember, you can pre-order all of the cards I've mentioned this week on StarCityGames.com. Until next time, Magic players, this is Evan Irwin, tapping the cards so you don't have to.
Always like the fatties.